CEO Mark was a man who had built his company from the ground up. What started as a small product made in his garage had grown into a large-scale business, with factories operating across multiple states and employing hundreds of workers. Over the years, he had always believed in his vision to create a strong company where employees could work in the best possible conditions. However, in recent times, Mark had been receiving troubling reports about the working environment in his factories. Employees were quitting at an alarming rate. Complaints about faulty equipment, exhausting work hours, and even unfair treatment were becoming more frequent. Despite asking management for explanations, their responses always seemed too polished, too perfect to be entirely true. A nagging feeling that something was seriously wrong wouldn't leave his mind. Mark knew he couldn't just sit in his luxurious office, relying solely on reports and numbers. If he wanted to understand what was really happening, he needed to see it for himself. So he made a bold decision, one he had never made before. Disguising himself as a temporary worker, Mark infiltrated one of his own factories. His goal was clear: to witness the reality firsthand and uncover the truth that no one dared to tell him. As soon as Mark stepped into the factory, he immediately felt the tension that weighed heavily on the workers. The worn-out machines rattled loudly, and the production line moved at an unforgiving pace. Many of the machines were severely outdated, frequently jamming, forcing workers to fix them on the spot, an extremely dangerous task. No one dared to complain or slow down, as every glance was filled with fear of one man: Carl, the factory manager. He cared about nothing but productivity. To Carl, there were only two choices: work fast or be replaced. As Mark moved through the assembly lines, he suddenly heard a weak voice coming from behind a stack of crates. "Please, I can't keep going." He rushed over and found Frank, an older worker, sitting on the floor, his face pale, sweat dripping down his forehead. He clutched his chest, gasping for breath, clear signs of a heart attack. Without hesitation, Mark ran to inform Carl, expecting immediate action. But Carl merely shrugged. "That old man is always complaining. If he can't handle it, he can leave." Mark froze in shock. The coldness in Carl's voice was beyond heartless. It revealed a brutal system where workers were pushed to their limits, exploited to exhaustion, and too afraid to speak up. After days of witnessing Carl's ruthless management and the injustices the workers endured, Mark knew he could no longer stay silent. The next morning, instead of wearing the worn-out clothes of a factory worker, he arrived dressed sharply in a suit. Without hesitation, he walked straight into the manager's office, where Carl sat comfortably reviewing production numbers, completely unaware that his fate was about to change. "Carl, we need to talk," Mark said firmly. Carl looked up, his initial annoyance quickly turning to shock as he recognized the CEO was standing before him. "I've been working here for the past few days," Mark continued, his voice steady but sharp. "I've seen firsthand how you treat these workers, how you ignore safety concerns, and how you only care about productivity." He locked eyes with Carl, not giving him a chance to make excuses. "You have failed as a leader, and today will be your last day here. You're fired, effective immediately." The factory floor fell silent as stunned workers processed what had just happened. But Mark wasn't finished. He turned to address the employees, his tone resolute yet reassuring. He promised to replace the outdated machinery, implement fair break policies, and ensure a safe and respectful work environment. For the first time in years, the factory no longer felt like a place of fear and exhaustion. It was filled with something new: hope. After firing Carl and announcing major changes in the factory, Mark knew that real reform couldn't just be words. He had to take action to prove that the workers would no longer be overlooked. In a meeting with the entire staff, he delivered a message that would change everything: recognition and rewards for those who had worked tirelessly under harsh conditions. Sarah, who had patiently trained new employees and maintained a positive attitude despite immense pressure, was promoted to shift supervisor. Not only did she receive a well-deserved pay raise, but she also gained a voice to advocate for her colleagues. Lewis, the young worker Carl had mercilessly berated, was given an unexpected gift. The company would fully cover his mother's medical bills through a newly established employee welfare fund. And Joe, The veteran worker who had been injured by outdated machinery received a substantial bonus and paid leave to fully recover. But the most significant change Mark implemented was the creation of a direct feedback system between workers and upper management. No one would be ignored again. As he looked around at the relieved and hopeful faces of his employees, Mark realized a profound lesson. A true CEO isn't just someone who reads reports and makes decisions from a distance. A true leader listens, understands, and protects the very people who built the company. Lessons learned from this story. Mark's story is more than just an undercover investigation. It's a powerful lesson in leadership and responsibility. It reminds us that a company cannot thrive solely on profit and numbers. It must be built on people. A great CEO isn't someone who stays in their office reading reports, but someone who steps down, immerses themselves in the lives of their employees, listens to their struggles, and takes real action to make a difference. Meaningful messages from this story. 1. Leadership isn't just about giving orders. It's about listening and understanding. When leaders truly care about their employees, they create a sustainable and fair workplace that fosters growth and success. 2. Employees are not just tools. They are valuable individuals. A successful company cannot function if its workers are mistreated, overlooked, or undervalued. 3. Never let distance cloud reality. No matter your position, never let reports and numbers blind you to the truth. Only by facing reality firsthand can you make the right decisions. 4. Change starts with action. Words alone don't create change. Strong, decisive actions, like Mark's, are what truly make a difference. Mark's journey is a testament to the power of fairness and accountability. It serves as a wake-up call for leaders everywhere. If you don't understand what's happening at the lowest levels of your organization, you are failing as a leader. Empathy and fairness not only improve company operations, but also inspire loyalty and motivation among employees. If you found this story inspiring and meaningful, don't forget to like, comment, and share to spread this important lesson to others. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel to never miss another powerful and thought-provoking video. Let's work together to build a fair and respectful workplace where every employee is heard and valued.